Join Daryl McCants and Yvette Walker each Tuesday at 4 p.m. on ABC News Radio, KMET, and Internet KMET TV. For the Southern California Business Report, the show highlights successful businesses and individuals behind them. Daryl and Yvette interview the incredible people managing these enterprises that range from awe-inspiring sole proprietors to world-renowned organizations. The Southern California Business Report, Tuesdays at 4 p.m. on KMET AM, FM, and Internet KMET TV.
Welcome to KMET 1490 AM ABC News Radio and the Southern California Business Report, a show dedicated to highlighting successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them, with Daryl McCants and Yvette Walker. And now, here's Daryl and Yvette.
Thank you for joining the Southern California Business Report on ABC News and Talks KMET 1490 AM, 98.1 FM, and KMET TV with Yvette Walker and myself, Daryl McCants. We are live, blasting our signal from the center of Southern California, the Inland Empire, Orange County, and the greater Los Angeles area to our west, the Desert Empire, Coachella Valley, all the way east to Arizona, the Temecula Valley through Riverside, all the way to San Diego to the south, and our beautiful mountain communities, Upper Desert, all the way to state line to the north, Nevada. Get us crystal clear live worldwide by going to the Google Play app or the Apple App Store and downloading the free KMET smartphone app today. We focus each week on successful Southern California businesses and the people behind them, serving a local population of nearly 25 million, 10 counties, from San Luis Obispo all the way to San Diego. And today's show is focused on the business and secrets of California's healthcare. Now, a couple of clues. I can't get too carried away. We'll be doing a formal introduction here momentarily. But clue number one is in the United States right now, nearly 40% of all the U.S. economy is dedicated towards the medical community. So as we talk about Southern California and the amazing things that are happening, we oftentimes are putting the spotlight on healthcare. And that's why. Also, Yvette Walker and I are always focused on a new body part. So we promise you today it's a new body part, okay? So before we begin, a special thank you to our team, Mitch, Bill, and Sean at the station, and our amazing advisory group from UC Irvine School of Business, Bill Morris, Jay Kaplan, catch his show every Friday at 3 p.m., Camila Rubio, Diana Cavallo, and James Carvin. Special thanks to last week's guest, Sheriff Shannon Dykes, just sworn in July of this year, San Bernardino County Sheriff. Amazing, amazing interview. At the end of this interview today, Yvette Walker will share how to pull that up on demand. If you didn't hear it live, you want to hear it. Amazing what's happening in one of the biggest counties in the United States, the leadership positions that's being taken very seriously in San Bernardino County, and the success is off the charts. We're so excited about the Sheriff's Department and the Sheriff, Shannon Dykes. If you missed it, definitely catch it on demand. As customary, Yvette Walker will introduce this week's special guest. Yvette, the microphone's all yours.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Daryl. And thank you so much for our special guest today. Dr. Clayton Lau is Chief of City of Hope's Division of Urology and Urologic Oncology. He is an international expert in robotic surgery who has trained countless U.S. surgeons how to expertly perform minimally invasive robotic surgery. As the director of City of Hope's prostate cancer program, Dr. Lau is an expert on leading-edge treatments for prostate cancer. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dr. Lau.
Thank you very much, Daryl and Yvette. It's a pleasure to meet you guys and be here to talk during Prostate Cancer Awareness Month in September.
September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. Now, before we jump into anything particular, Yvette just went down your high points, and we always like to start the show off with having you add anything you want on your personal journey. And remember, there are young doctors, and you're training a ton of them. But those that are out there thinking about medicine, give us a little insight before we get into this topic into depth. What motivated you to go into medicine? how did you end up where you're at? Kind of fill us in a little bit before we jump on to specifics.
Thanks, Daryl. I actually a fellow Southern California. I grew up in Fullerton. I loved the sciences growing up. Played a lot of sports. I played football, basketball, and ran track. So I kind of enjoyed doing everything. I learning about everything. So when I got to college and I played football in college and ran some track, I really at that time focused on the sciences and trying to learn everything about it, including anything from biology, anatomy, and chemistry. From then, kind of led to medical school because I thought it'd be great to push myself in the sciences, help the public. Then when I got to medical school, the anatomy and physiology really caught my eye. The exhilaration of surgery itself, helping people, kind of brought me back to the days of athletics, challenging myself and learning how to do better, how to analyze, how to do better, how to help patients. That's how I decided to become a surgeon. And within surgery, there's so many different specialties, and I had wonderful mentors. In medical school, it actually is interesting. You try every specialty, anything from orthopedics to heart surgery to urologic surgery to ENT surgery. And it's kind of funny. You have to pick one after, even if it's a month or a 2 month rotation. And I had really good mentors in urology. And so urology is, the disease of the urologic organs, such as the kidney, the bladder, the prostate. And I thought specifically in urology, there's a lot of oncologic cancer surgery, which I found, was really motivating me to help patients long term, especially since we know that cancer is, affects so many people in the United States. And I went down that route, did urology for 5 years. And after that, knowing I wanted to focus on cancer treatment and research, did my fellowship at City of Hope and have stayed on staff since now for the last 16 years.
Wow. And today you are one of the premier educators in the technology using robotic surgery for urologic conditions, which is amazing. It's a huge testimony to our region, Southern California, to have such an incredible learning facility like City of Hope and like yourself, physicians that are caring, that want to do the best that they can, that are always looking to improve and do better. It's just incredible. And so how do you view this position that you hold within this medical community when it comes to robotic surgery and being at the spearhead of the forefront of this technology?
Well, it's really exciting. I mean, I think that when we first started doing robotic surgery, and we were one of the first ones in the United States in 2003 with some of my mentors. We were started with a cancer series in Southern California at the City of Hope, and it's grown to a national reputation. Now we have a huge campus. We treat thousands and thousands of patients each year, but we now also have 35 satellites. So we've actually expanded our footprint and it's made it easier for patients to travel from different areas to be evaluated and treated from all stages. And that includes people that are trying to figure out if they have cancer, to early stage cancer, to people that have more aggressive cancer, or people that are interested in clinical trials. Within education and technology, I'm just blessed to be at the City of Hope because the City of Hope is the cutting edge for robotic surgery. Being at the cutting edge of also the visualization with essentially we have optical imaging. With our robots, so it's been a great. We've been through 5 generations of robots, and it's been fantastic for me to be able to train 40 fellows and now leaders in robotic surgery throughout the United States.
So you were saying earlier that and encouraging Yvette to let her kids have a little fun on those video games because if you study hard and then you play hard on those video games, you figured out a way of bringing those two together. You want to kind of take us in, since we've opened up the box on robotics.
Yeah.
Kind of take us in and tell us why today say versus 5 years ago, 10 years ago. I know that you and your colleagues are waking up every day saying, we want to save lives and we want to make it less invasive, less painful.
Yeah.
Uh, I recently had an experience here at City of Hope that was just amazingly painless, and I don't know what I was all worried about. I went in, got inspections, and got out, and
Sure.
it was really amazing what's happening right now. So, kind of take us in and let us know, because what we don't know. So take us in and let us know today versus 3, 5, 7, 10 years ago, and encourage these young people to study hard, just study hard as they can, and then make sure on the side they play some video games. They're going to help them with the
Yeah, when I
technology.
played, I don't want to date myself, but when I played video games, they're only a quarter. And
Exactly.
I think the video games now they're like $1 or $2 each, and probably won't last for long. But
And it was Pac-Man.
just Pac-Man and Tron and Space Invaders and Centipede.
There you go.
But I love video games. I love technology, and when I was trained as a surgeon back, I started in 2000 as a trainee. It's very traditional. It was a knife. It was scissors and just traditional iron instruments, some electrocautery, some clips. At the beginning, then they started to use some fiber optic telescopes to help with it, be less invasive. Nowadays, the sky's the limit. We're using robotic surgery, where it's you're using master slave systems where you're operating in a fine space, magnified view to 20 times to do complex movements, being able to see the tissue around there, the organ itself, be it the prostate, the kidney, or if you're working on the lung, but also seeing the disease organ. So you can actually look at it, maneuver around it, around critical structures. Using this technology has only gotten better and easier over the years, just like anything, technological, from like TVs that we have or whatnot. So it's been amazing for the last 15 years because it's been a rapid, change and improvement of the technologies to help us do surgery on patients. And for many patients that have tumors, solid tumors, you can have many of the surgeries done robotically, be it prostate cancer, kidney cancer, colon cancer, and the patients reap the benefits: less morbidity, less pain, quicker recovery. You can do complex operations with much more finesse and less morbidity nowadays.
Right. And I feel like today, so many people are anxious. They have different reasons or barriers that prevent them from going forward, whether it's a time commitment, or extent, whatever it is. But it's important that we understand the process. And I love the fact that you shared with us the technology that exists that can finally, by 20 times, identify the diseased tissue in comparison to the healthy tissue, and focusing in the most least invasive way possible, taking out that diseased tissue, leaving alone the beautiful, perfect, healthy, preserved tissue, and letting those patients continue their lives in a very healthy and robust way to continue their healthy quality of life. And I think when listeners and viewers understand that and have that perspective, a lot of those barriers fall off, those fears disappear, because it's so easy. It's so painless. All the technology you talk about, you have lasers and lights and these fine-tuned instruments. It's just absolutely phenomenal. Please talk to us more about how preserving that healthy tissue in relation to the diseased tissue has really helped to help your efforts in combating cancer in your patients.
Well, our foremost goal is to cure people of cancer, and with new technologies, we're finding new ways to image the patient's bodies to find if the cancer is only in one specific area, or if it's spread out to different areas. So it can guide us for surgery. Do we only need to take out one specific area, or do we need to also center on different areas? In regards to the recovery, and we always worry not only about the cancer standpoint, but also the quality of life of patients. We want to make sure that after they're treated, they can get back to their normal life, normal activities, back to their families, to doing the things that they love. Be it, I have patients that are marathoners to triathletes. the goal after, if they have these cancer issues, is to take care of them, cure them, make sure their quality of life issues such as potentially incontinence and erectile dysfunction are taken care of, and they can live a whole life without those issues. They get back to the things that they love to do: be with family, working out, doing the Iron Man. These are things that my patients love to do, or grandparents wanting to travel to spend more time and see their grandkids. So it's very important to me and all of us, being coming from a large family. So I think these are all important things that we at the City of Hope we look toward, and we also do research on this, not only just to specifically curing someone, finding the cancer early, but also the quality of life of patients afterwards.
For those that just tuned in, we are with Dr. Clayton Lau, Director of the Prostate Cancer Program at City of Hope. September, Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. This is what it's all about. The body part of the day, the prostate. And we have an expert on that's teaching other surgeons and performing surgeries at City of Hope and letting us know the good news today. As Yvette just said, this is less invasive. It gets into, and I'm going to kind of just lead off with this. We've had the pleasure of having, we just get so excited when City of Hope comes on with the 35 locations, comprehensive cancer center. And the thing that gets me personally just really motivated, because we focus on this show on success, solutions, and secrets. And I think all three, Yvette and I both our ears started to spin around when we heard that when City of Hope can identify things in stage 1 or stage 2, they got 90 to 95% of these cancers under control. So people go carry on their lives, and this becomes the least of their problem, because they caught it early. So let's go down that direction. So on the whole theme of catching it early, talk to us about who is a great candidate. When should they get these tests done? And then anything else you want to add to it. And feel free to tell us some success stories, because we all need it. Because there's other people like Daryl McCants, which is a big chicken. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm a big chicken. I love doctors, but I'm afraid they're going to find something. Okay. So it's me versus them, and you guys are getting pretty fancy with your technology. So I might as well just run in and get scanned and get as Yvette Walker says, if we take as good a care of ourselves as we do our cars,
That's right.
probably going to all have a much higher quality of life and a lot more enjoyment. So just run with that, doctor. Who and when, and then tell us whatever else on the whole topic of success stories and what can we do to help ourselves.
Right. Yeah. So, with screening, when we didn't screen back in the 60s and 70s, the risk of dying of prostate cancer was much higher. Many more patients were presenting or coming with stage 4 cancer, disease that spread, namely many times to the bladder, to the bone, to the lungs. So they were symptomatic pretty significantly when they first found it. Now with the advent of screening, we're finding the more cancers early, getting them, in more treatable stage 1 or 2. This is something that's been a little controversial over the past 10 years, but it's, if you look at, decade to decade, the death from prostate cancer has gone down as screening has increased. And what we do know is there are a lot of people that are more affected from getting prostate cancer, more likely to die of prostate cancer, that should be screened, and certainly screened earlier. But as a general rule, for most cancer, the American Cancer Center, American Cancer Society, and also the NCCN, we typically recommend patients start screening at 50 years of age with a PSA and rectal exam. Those patients that are more likely to be affected, for instance, those that are African American, or those with a first degree relative with prostate cancer, should probably start at 40 years of age, getting that rectal exam and also a PSA. Getting screened doesn't mean that you have cancer or you're going to find cancer. And even if you find cancer, some of the cancers that we find are so small, many patients don't need treatment. That's why it's important to not only find it, but talk to the right cancer specialist so they know what to look forward to, what options there are, and how to be watched over time. And there's a lot of, in 20, 30 years ago, we only had traditional treatments, be it standard radiation therapy or open surgery with potential side effects that can, affected them for a lifetime. But nowadays, we can do things. Many patients are candidates for active surveillance or watching it. Some people can have new wave of radiation machines that are much more exact, so there's less side effects. And then robotic surgery. Surgery now done, especially in expert hands at cancer centers such as the City of Hope. The morbidity of surgery is tremendously much less than it was, 15, 20 years ago. So I think patients should really strongly consider to have screening done. Certainly talk to their primary care doctors, potentially to visit with a urologist to have that done. In addition, another thing that's very important, if you have a first degree relative that has breast cancer, you're more susceptible to get prostate cancer. So, if you have a sister or a mother that has breast cancer, it's linked, they potentially, especially if they have the BRCA2 gene, is that essentially you should get screened at 40. So, so that these are things that we need to look out for. In terms of prevention, there have been quite a bit of studies. We look at epidemiologic studies, but there's less incidence of prostate cancer in countries that have they eat less red meat. So, more of a plant-based diet or a fish-based diet are probably less likely to develop prostate cancer in a lifetime.
Wow. And so can you share some symptoms that we need to look out for as, we get carried on in our day-to-day? And you talked about some categories needing to be screened earlier. What are some telltale signs or some red flags that say, I better get this checked out?
Most people that have prostate cancer are asymptomatic. So I think you want to just base it on age. So if you're at high risk because of a family member, a first degree relative has one, if you're African American, definitely start at 40. But also, I think that if you have urinary symptoms, these are certain things that men commonly have issues with afterwards when they get older. And that can be a lot of urinary frequency, blood in the urine. They definitely need to be evaluated by a urologist. They might not find prostate cancer, but they might have other urologic issues that turn up. But it's important, as in the public, is to get screened. And I'm a urologist, but I'm a cancer physician. But it's important to know that there are many diseases that we can find early. For men, it's prostate cancer is one, colon cancer is another one. So all men at 45 should get their first colonoscopy, because you can actually find polyps that might eventually become colon cancer, or find cancer early enough to be treated. And that's another one that's very important to get screened on.
That's I hear you loud and clear. And I already admitted that I was a bad boy on my colonoscopy, but I snapped into shape and went and did the inspection. And sure enough, as you said, the small polyps, and they can see size and whether or not they're cancerous or not cancerous. So it really feels good. I got to tell you, as a patient of City of Hope, to get a clear bill of health, it feels really good. It's nice. That, to me, that is the why. So when Yvette was talking about the motivations, be optimistic. We have this amazing comprehensive cancer center with 35 locations all over Southern California that are just tremendously accessible. And now we're getting to the bottom of what needs to be done with regard to the prostate. And you were talking about with the symptoms. We love secrets. Okay, so you saw Yvette and I smile right away when you mentioned, and let's just kind of hit this home. There is a connection between breast cancer and prostate cancer. That's a wow to me. This is the first I've ever heard of that. Yvette, had you ever heard of that?
That is new to me, but it makes sense. So I'm so glad you shared with that today,
Dr.
Lau.
So if a mother Are you saying like within the nuclear family, mothers, sisters,
Yes.
any of them, if they've experienced breast cancer, then sons and everybody needs to get in there and you thinking like at what age, doctor? 40?
At 40. So if you have a first degree relative that had breast cancer, a sister or mother, they certainly should start screening at 40. A
Okay,
lot of the genes that are, that help develop breast cancer develop also in prostate cancer.
that's that is and then you put the connection also between the colonoscopy and the prostate. So link those together. So make sure that you get both of those top of list. Is that kind of the thought process?
Yeah, for cancer screening and prevention, or cancer screening for men, those are the two most common things we recommend. Number one, definitely don't smoke. It's probably one of the most important things that we shouldn't do. But we should all, when we get our health care, do prostate screening for men and also get a colonoscopy. So those are very important things. Because prostate cancer is so common, it's actually the leading cause of solid tumors in the men in the United States.
Wow.
And the third leading cause, actually still the third leading cause of cancer-related deaths in the United States.
Oh my.
Wow. Well, we're gonna be picking up. We're gonna go to a short break, and we're gonna come back, and we're gonna go into a little deeper discussion on this because you really got my attention there. You see, I'm wide awake now. So, but the smoking and just to those people that are smoking out there, go get your exams earlier. Are you saying that if somebody is a smoker, are you thinking 40 as well, doctor?
No, for smoking, actually not for prostate cancer, but it's one of the behaviors as a cancer physician. I would say it's something that, as a cancer physician, it's one of the things that you can modify and really decrease the chance of risk of bladder cancer and lung cancer and kidney cancer.
Got it.
But for prostate, I think that the things that one can potentially help with is probably a heart healthy diet. You want to try to be, there's increased risk of prostate cancer in the obese.
Right.
So exercise and a
Okay.
diet.
Well, don't give too many secrets now because we're going to go to break. Then we're going to get the rest of those secrets. We will be right back with Dr. Clayton Lau, Director of Prostate Cancer Program at City of Hope. We'll be right back.
Ontario International Airport is onto a better way to fly with over 65 daily nonstop flights to more than 20 major destinations and the easiest airport experience in Southern California. Visit flyonto.com/Ontario to learn more about Ontario International Airport today.
Being sued and don't know who to turn to? The insurance company won't defend you and your family in a lawsuit? Stress no more. Call the Walker Law Group. We are the law on your side. Just call 909-989-3200. 909-989-3200.
The University of Laverne is rated first in California for alumni satisfaction. Learn more about accelerated programs offered online and on campus in Laverne, Irvine, Ontario, Burbank, or College of the Canyons. Visit go.laverne.edu. The University of Laverne. go.laverne.edu.
City of Hope is driven to making a difference in the lives of people with cancer and diabetes. We accomplish this by conducting innovative research and providing outstanding care. If you or a loved one has received a cancer diagnosis, go to cityofhope.org to learn more about how our innovative approach could change your outcome.
Every 2 seconds, someone needs a blood transfusion. Be on the giving side. Livestream Blood Bank supports patients in 80 Southern California hospitals. Call 1-800-TRY-GIVING for more information and to set an appointment.
Hi, this is Sheriff Shannon Dykes inviting you to attend the 22nd Annual Sheriff's PRCA Pro Rodeo at Glen Helen Park in DeVore, September 24th, 25th, and 26th. Tickets are available online or at the event. proceeds benefit a number of children's organizations around San Bernardino County. The Sheriff's Rodeo, September 24th, 25th, and 26th at Glen Helen Park in Devore. Thank you to our sponsors, Stater Brothers Charities, San Manuel Band of Mission Indians, and the County of San Bernardino. For more information, go to sheriffsrodeo.com.
Welcome back, and thank you for joining the Southern California Business Report with Dr. Clayton Lau, Director of Prostate Cancer Program at City of Hope, a surgeon, a teacher, and helping us get the message out because we are right smack in prostate cancer. What are we saying?
Awareness Month.
Awareness Month. Yeah. I couldn't read my own writing. I should be a doctor. Yeah, the Prostate Cancer Awareness Month. And we're so excited to have Dr. Clayton Lau with us because right before we went to break, we were talking about some secrets. And just to recap, this connection between family members that have breast cancer and the prostate cancer, which is a secret. You know, Yvette and I, this is a secret to both of us. I would imagine most listeners that would be like, wow. So that just sends off an alarm signal for everybody in the household that, hey, all the immediate family members, you know, we want to raise that awareness level up if breast cancer has been observed. And then secondly, you mentioned that there is an absolute relationship between eating red meat and smoking and being overweight. So, you know, we just want to, all of us want to be smart. You know, we want to have a great quality of life. Yvette mentioned the word quality of life. That's what it's all about. And City of Hope is all about saving lives, having things done minimally invasive. The doctors and surgeons and everybody out there, you know, they want to create the least amount of invasive, painful processes, and they've been cutting edge. They're right at the forefront. We were talking about that earlier on the whole topic of robotics. So let's move to the next subject, which is there are the classic PSA exams, the rectal exam, and then tell us what else if somebody is at risk. And they want to really, you know, do the ounce of prevention's worth a pound of cure. They want to catch it when it's a 0 or small, and they know that they're in that risk group. And you've given some great guideposts. You know, African Americans 40. You know, if you have the breast cancer within the family 40. You know, get in, take it seriously. Make sure that you're really inspecting this, as Yvette Walker would say, like your car. You know, if you take as good a care of yourself as you do your car's going to go forever, and so is your prostate. Okay? 'Cause that's our body part of the day. So, doctor, would you run with it and tell
Sure.
the listeners the next level up of inspection, because that's exciting.
Yeah. So for many years when we started doing surveillance, traditionally just that blood test, that PSA, and an examination, the rectal exam. But we also take, I think comprehensively, like we've talked about, since there's that genetic predisposition, make sure that the physician, and that's why coming to City of Hope is important, because we have a great genetics department here, is someone who's going to take a very good history of, if they're of their family's history of, other cancers out there, as we talked about. Is there a family history of breast cancer, and family history of prostate cancer? What is their diet like? So these are things that are important. But importantly, we don't want to do unnecessary biopsies. No one wants unnecessary biopsy. They're worried about it, and that's one of the issues that we had seen in the last decade and made PSA screening controversial. Is everyone was getting biopsy. Well, now we have better imaging. We have multi-parametric MRIs, a special MRI, just to view the prostate, to allow us to see if there actually is clinically significant prostate cancer in the prostate. It'll show, it's a picture of the MRI. It's usually read by MRI specialists of the prostate. In addition, if we do see the areas that have potentially cancer there, we can actually mirror that image. We talked a little about technology. The prostate biopsy is done rudimentarily with an ultrasound and a needle, and they would just kind of poke it in there, and it's almost like a guessing game. But now we can super overlay pictures of the ultrasound and the MRI, to make it more exact, and to show where we're going to biopsy and the areas that are worrisome. In addition, by doing that, if we do a repeated biopsy for patients down the road, we can actually see where we biopsied before. So if the PSA keeps going up and we didn't find cancer the first time, we can test different areas. So these are things that are available at the City of Hope, and a lot of people come throughout Southern California for this technology to have that initial evaluation. These are patients that don't have cancer, but they might have a family history, but their wife might have breast cancer. They're coming here to be evaluated to make sure they don't have it. And for many, they don't have prostate cancer, and they come here to be evaluated, but some do. But it's a more exact way of evaluating a patient for prostate cancer.
And it makes a lot of sense. And that is something that I absolutely love about the work that City of Hope is doing. And you demonstrated it perfectly when you talk about basically creating that picture, developing that roadmap prior to, touching the patient. You have the roadmap defined, clear, and precise to make it as easy and seamless and, as possible. And as someone that, I view my health as something that should be preserved, protected, and enhanced because I have 3 children. And I feel that we all should view our health in that way because of the quality of life for ourselves and those that rely on us. And that's why I always make the analogy. Imagine how wonderful our quality of life collectively can be, and also a benefit economically, right? Because we cannot work if we're ill, if we're undergoing chemotherapy, if we're pulled away from, the economic realities that we live in. And that's why our health is so important. And that's why I love what it is that you're doing, and that you are on the spearhead, on the tip of what it is that is creating the technology necessary to catch these cancers in stage 1 and stage 2 and offer those therapies that can eliminate it by over 90%. And that's what I get excited about. And that's what I love about having you and other physicians from City of Hope share that tremendous technology, those amazing techniques, and the fact that you're teaching others throughout the world this critical life-saving therapies.
Yeah, Yvette and Daryl, I'm very blessed to be at the City of Hope. And this is over decades, 20, 30 years of prostate cancer treatment here in terms of expertise. But we even looked at, the SEER database, which is a large database of cancer centers and other institutions throughout the United States. And we rank at the highest in terms of cure rates and survival for all the stages from 1 to 4. And this is a lot of work from, the medical oncologists, the nurses, the surgeons, and researchers over the past 2 decades. So, something that we're committed to, and when we look forward to cancer, prostate cancer treatment and research, I mean, the sky's the limit for diagnosis, treatment, and especially even for the early stage ones, and specifically also for the people that have very aggressive disease like stage 4 cancer.
Absolutely. And City of Hope makes it so easy. And I'm just going to share my little testimony because it's so critical. And as we're looking at October, I know October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Everybody get your mammograms. So I get mine at the City of Upland location that is across from San Antonio Regional Hospital. I go to that campus, City of Hope, get my mammograms. I am in and out in an hour with mammograms and blood labs and a clear bill of health every time. And if something pops up, then we have time to address it. And I hope that everybody starts making their appointments today for October. But yes, Dr. Lau, like you said, prevention, screening, understanding your family dynamic and history are so critical for finding these cancers in the first stages.
See, did you see how she got that plug in for October? See, we're supposed to. We got.
We're looking ahead, Daryl. We're looking ahead.
That's the future. I'm teasing you.
She's a planner.
She's planning, exactly. She's 2 steps ahead. 2 steps ahead. That's what we want to do. That falls right into that whole prevention. And now let's switch to, since we're talking about City of Hope, as Yvette just mentioned, with 35 campuses to make it easy for everybody to access City of Hope. let's change the topic to clinical trials. I understand there's some exciting things. You mentioned that the cure rates are coming down, and that City of Hope has one of the highest success rates in the nation, right here in our backyard, right in San Gabriel Valley, with the main campus, with 34 other satellites that are all working in tandem. Tell us about clinical trials.
And City of Hope has, prided itself, in clinical trials for all diseases. Our GU program, our prostate program, is probably one of the biggest ones at the institution. One trial that we have open at the City of Hope, which is exciting, is the white button mushroom trial. So we're taking the most common mushroom that's edible, and we actually made it a powder and put it in a pill form, and basically we're using it to help with prostate cancer patients at early grade and early stage to see if it slows it down. And we're looking at it for patients that had prostate cancer that recur, and giving it to them and to see how it slows a PSA down. And this is a lot of work. When we look back 10 years ago, we actually found this white button mushroom first in the lab. We found it decreased the cancers from proliferating or growing. We also saw a huge immune response, a lot of the cells that within that lab. And we did studies on mice in the same situation, where we inject them with prostate cancer line cells, either feeding them with water versus the white button mushrooms, and it was pretty amazing to see the prostate cancer weight go down. In addition to that, you can see the immune response just with the white button mushroom with there. So then we did actually a human trial with here at the City of Hope, looking at patients. We did 36 patients, first time, mushroom trial for prostate cancer patients. We took actually more aggressive cancer patients, people that actually had cancer come back after treatment, the unfortunate patients. What we found, actually 36% of those patients had a decrease in their PSA. It slowed their cancer down. Out of the 36, we actually had 2 of them, cancer totally disappeared. So really exciting work in a phase 1 study. So with that, we decided to do a phase 2 study looking at this, and it's open now, where we are looking at those patients that are newly diagnosed. So if you're newly diagnosed with prostate cancer, are candidates for this and are not interested in pursuing radiation or surgery right away, you can try the white button mushroom trial. Or if you've had treatment already at City of Hope or elsewhere and you recur, you can be on this trial to see if this white button mushroom will actually slow it down. So this is really exciting work.
That is, I'm sorry, go right ahead of it.
I was just going to say, where can people go to be a part of this white button mushroom trial? Where do they need to go? Who do they call? How do they participate?
So it's actually, the trial is at the City of Hope in Duarte. So they can look online at cityofhope.org. They can also type in, they can even Google search it, white button mushroom trial at City of Hope. They can even look up my email on there and as one of the principal investigators, and contact us to see if they're a candidate for the trial.
Very nice.
Now we're talking. And what's neat about that is, oftentimes, as I said, I'm a great example because I'm a big chicken, right? So when you talk about, you guys take that mushroom and put it in a pill form, and then old Daryl has to swallow it. That sounds good, because we always are afraid of scalpels and something more invasive. So I just a tip of the hat to all of you there at City of Hope that are just really focused on less invasive, more success, curing. It's just amazing how 5 years ago things were major challenges. Today, for you all, it's a day at the office. The person is completely taken care of, and with as Yvette said, in some cases 90-95%, they have nothing to worry about. They're going to be dealing with other issues, but that issue's been handled permanently. So as you guys are racing to literally cure cancer and making these amazing strides, and in the meantime just minimizing how invasive it is and so forth, let me throw this at you. Because City of Hope is a comprehensive cancer center, you knowing what you know about prostate cancer and then the other components within urology, how do you feel about second opinions? How do you feel about somebody that's concerned going straight to City of Hope? Uh, Address those two: going straight to City of Hope or getting a second opinion. What would you do if it were a family member of yours, your best friend? What advice would you give them?
So I always believe you should get a second or third opinion. I think Yvette likes her cars, but she always uses the car analogy. But you would never, Yvette, you would never buy a car by going to one dealer, right?
No, of course not. I always, shop around and make sure that they have everything. I have peace of mind to know that I need to get to where I need to get to in a way that I want to get to it.
Yeah, it's the same thing for healthcare. And the problem about healthcare, it's probably even scarier because at least in cars or buying a TV, there are reviews. In medicine, even though there are reviews, there's less information for the layperson to know what is right or what's wrong. There's a lot of information out there. I always tell patients it's important to seek second or third opinions, really learn about what the issue is, type of cancer, get a second opinion on the pathology slides. Is it a specific type of tumor? Is it a more aggressive one than they originally thought? Are the treatment options all there? Only available at one site versus another site. So it's important to get second and third opinions, and specifically if it's for cancer, City of Hope it's at the top. So it's one of the best cancer centers in the United States, especially in prostate cancer and the GU program. So it's a good place to come here for initially, or to or even as a second or third opinion.
Now, we're excited that you mentioned earlier that you started in Fullerton, and I saw Yvette light up because she's a big fan of Fullerton. She's also enjoyed living in Fullerton. Now we
Yes.
don't want you to get any big ideas about leaving Southern California, okay? Because we've identified you as a treasure, and we're getting so many secrets out of you today that I don't even know. I'm writing them down as you're saying them here, and we'll recoup them in a minute. But you can go vacation wherever you want, but you don't have any big ideas of leaving Southern California, do you?
No. My family's here. My wife's family, my kids, they're teenagers. I have two teenage daughters, so they won't let me leave. They're
Okay, good.
California girls.
Okay, like I said, you can go vacation wherever you want, but we need you here in Southern California, and my prostate feels better already just knowing you're over there. Keeping an eye out, making sure everybody's healthy and happy, and giving us these secrets. Now, the whole topic of, I just want to kind of go back a couple of things on the clinical trials. Say again who those are open to, and then we'll take it from there.
So these for the trials, there's two arms. So what we're giving them is a white button mushroom pills, and basically one arm is for patients that are newly diagnosed with prostate cancer, never had treatment. So the treatment would be actually the mushroom or the placebo, which is the control arm, to see what the difference is. The other arm is essentially patients that have had treatment, so they had radiation or surgery, but unfortunately they recurred. In other words, the cancer came back, and that's another subset of patients that we have a trial set up for to see if that'll help. We definitely think it'll help delay other more toxic therapies, be it more radiation, be it more chemotherapy or hormone ablation. Can we delay it? Do we not need it at all? I mean, we've actually had, like I said, a couple of complete responders in a previous trial that we had. So pretty exciting.
That is, it doesn't get better than that. Take a little pill, and two of the folks, it's gone. The cancer's completely gone.
Yeah, and it's well tolerated. I mean, it's basically mushrooms. Unless you have mushroom allergy, it's very well tolerated. In the phase 1 studies, there really weren't any major side effects from them.
It reminds me of another video game that includes mushrooms and collecting them as a benefit.
Which one's that?
Mario Brothers, of course.
Oh, see?
I was waiting for Dr. Lau to chime in on that. But to think that a white button mushroom could potentially unlock the answers of addressing and curing prostate cancer. Remarkable.
Isn't that great? Especially nowadays where, there's a belief that within some areas of research, they exclude things. And the fact that City of Hope is so excited about a nutritional, less of the traditional surgical, solution. And again, it just goes to the commitment from City of Hope, the least invasive, looking for the most success, the highest quality of life, saving lives. I mean, that's the fact that whole nutritional piece is there. I think just gives people that on the outside that don't operate in the City of Hope. I think that would just be like, wow. That would just be a real wow that you guys are looking at all solutions. You're not looking in just one particular area. So kudos for that. Any other final thoughts on the clinical trial, Doctor?
We're excited to have it open. Love to have patients come in here. But you're right, at the City of Hope, this is only one clinical trial. So, we at the City of Hope, our prostate cancer clinical trial program is, we have trials for all stages, stage 1, also always stage 4. So for anyone that's affected by prostate cancer, we have something for everybody.
Thank you so much. Yvette, you know what to do.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today, Dr. Lau. The important information you shared with us is wonderful. And before we move on, I just want to acknowledge today is the funeral procession for Marine Corps Lance Corporal Dylan Marola, who was 20 years old, of Rancho Cucamonga, California, a hometown hero to Rancho Cucamonga and one of 13 members of our armed forces recently lost in Afghanistan. Marola was assigned to the 2nd Battalion, 1st Marine Regiment, 1st Marine Division, I Marine Expeditionary Force out of Camp Pendleton, California. And everyone listening and watching today, don't forget to look for us on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Check us out on scbrtalk.com, and don't forget to download the free live streaming app on Google Play or the Apple App Store. Check out our YouTube channel and download our interview with San Bernardino County Sheriff Shannon D. Dicus. On July 14th, 2021, Shannon D. Dicus was appointed Sheriff Coroner by the Board of Supervisors. He serves as the 36th Sheriff Coroner of the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Sheriff Dicus was raised in a law enforcement family and has lived in San Bernardino County for over 40 years. In high school, he was a Sheriff's Explorer Scout. After graduating, he enlisted in the United States Army and was assigned to the 101st Airborne Division, where he served as a military police officer at Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and in Sinai, Egypt. After his tour of service in the military, Sheriff Dicus worked for the Department of Veterans Affairs Police Department in Loma Linda, California. He was hired by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department in 1991 and attended the Frank Bland Training Center 106th Basic Academy session. As an assistant sheriff, he was responsible for support operations and supervised 3 deputy chiefs. Next week, we will feature Marty Rodriguez. Marty's profound knowledge, housing market experience, and 43 years in business have helped her build an office that is the embodiment of personal and professional success. Under her leadership, the team at Century 21 Marty Rodriguez is a finely tuned machine, always striving for excellence in the drive to satisfy the needs to today's homebuyers and sellers. Everybody, we'll see you next week. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't miss it.